Carol.
To accept this call,
Bluetooth
press
connected.
0. To refuse this call, hang up. Your current balance is $50.90. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello.
Hey there. Who's there?
Hello.
It's Northern Neck.
Something like a million miles away.
You are. Not a million,
How
but
y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
All right.
What's
Doing
happening
great.
in your
What's going out
world?
there tonight?
well, we're just getting set up here and waiting for your call.
Oh, well, I guess we're right on time then, huh?
Yeah, so we want to know what's going on with you and your world. Anything exciting?
Oh, everything's good. It's good. It's Trump's birthday, so I made
Happy birthday, Trump! Yay!
Trump! Woo!
happy birthday, Trump. I made you 2 cheesecakes, and they're orange cheesecakes. He's a big bad orange man.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
good stuff, ain't it?
Yes,
It's
it
definitely
is.
great.
It'd be better stuff when it becomes
Yeah, it's
president.
gonna be a good cheesecake.
Yeah.
Huh?
You gonna have it tonight? Are you
Oh
gonna?
yeah, I picked some slices up. I just got done making it about an hour ago, so
You're making them?
it's got a hard little huh?
You're making them out of cheese puffs?
Do what?
How do you make it?
How do you make your cheesecake?
Oh. Okay. So we get powdered milk in here, right?
All right.
So I pour about 4 ounces, 5 ounces of powdered milk in a bowl. We got these packs of cream cheese, about 3 or 4 ounces apiece. So I use about 3 packs of those. I squeeze it in there on top of that powdered milk. And then I take these cream cookies, these little sandwich cookies,
Yeah.
and I break them, I twist them in half and scrape all the cream out of them. So once I get all the cream out of them, I separate the cookies, take the cream, and put it in there with powdered milk and cheesecake. Or the powdered milk, the cream cheese, and now the cream from the cookies.
Right, and it makes it.
So this I'll take, usually I'll take like a Sprite to get it wet. And
Right,
I'll start
so-
whipping it up. This time I use like an orange crush and an orange Kool-Aid that I had, an orange drink. So now I got the orange Kool-Aid mixed in there with this orange crush. So I'm whipping it and I make like this paste, right? So I set this inside one bowl. So I take the cookies and I crush them up.
That's funny.
For the crust.
Nice.
That's funny. You guys
Dough.
are inventive.
So that's my crust. So I push it down in the bowl and make the crust, and then I take that cream cheese and that powdered milk that I just whipped up into a cream, and I pour it in there. And then I give it a couple hours and then it hardens.
That's pretty good. Maybe
So this
you,
time for a top, yeah. That's my cheesecake. I learned that years ago by myself. Today I took we got oranges, so I took 4 oranges, I peeled them, and I squeezed all the juice out of them. And I added these little packs of honey, about 4 packs of honey in the juice, and put some sugar in there, and I whipped it up, put it in the microwave, heated it up, and I had like this orange sauce, kind of caramelized, and I poured it on top of the cheesecake, and it hardened, it's like a candy.
Wow.
Perfect.
perfect.
So yeah, so now I have this nice orange cheesecake just for Trump.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And about
When's he
maybe,
coming over? When's he coming over?
well, you know, we still got cell 45 open for him.
Uh-huh.
I wish he would tell me to beat this cheesecake.
You gotta get
And
47.
that's what I've been doing today.
You've been baking.
That sounds
40,
good.
yeah, 45.
Yeah,
We got 45, 46, and 47 open, so we
Yes,
figure if he
choice.
comes in and goes into 45, tear down the wall of 46 and get to 47. Because, you know, Trump's gotta have the penthouse, the suite.
Ah, yeah. That's right.
And he don't need Secret Service, we got plenty of bodyguards in here.
Oh, wow.
That sounds good.
Wow.
So you have to,
That's
you
what
want-
I've been doing
You
today.
have a few updates, I hear, to tell us tonight. Maybe.
Let's see, talk about,
What? He says.
as far as what exactly?
Well,
'Cause I can go off.
about, what's going on with Jake Lang.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, my buddy Jake Lane.
yes, do
Let me
tell.
tell you something. I opened up my tablet and I see that, I guess he's in the Brooklyn jail by himself, and he's with, that piece of shit Ryan Stansel. They're always together for some reason or another. It makes me wonder if they both work for the Fed.
Oh, no.
But, anyways, I opened up my tablet and I look at, Yahoo News. And it says Jake Lang is forming a militia from behind the bar, inside the jail. I'm like, okay, well, who's your militia? First of all, we are not your militia. If you think in any kind of way that we're going to back you up in any kind of militia, you have definitely lost your ever-loving mind.
At least not
And
happening.
I got on the Vigil the other night, and I talked about this with Jake Lang and these organizations that like to grift off people. And everybody thinks that Jake Lang is this wonderful Christian man that helps people. Let me tell you something. All that stuff y'all read about his organizations, how much stuff he says he's doing for people.
Yeah,
He throws crumbs. He throws crumbs at people. He put $100 on. He'll wait till the new guys come in the pod. He'll throw $100 on a book. Maybe do it again. Spend about $400 or $500 of J6 money, not his money, but then now you owe him because he's using your money to bring you in, and his little fake Christianity. He might even send you a Bible. He might get Wong Kwong to send you a Bible, which he's his little assistant, his little piece of shit assistant. But anyway, these little organizations that Jake Lang starts up and gets people to donate to him. He's had over $2 million donated to him, and I guarantee you this, there hasn't been $2 million given to J6ers. And I don't care what kind of transparency he tries to get people that he drums up. You got people in it, he'll try to get you a lawyer that's I call them $2 lawyers. They're no-name lawyers, they don't know anything about the federal system, and he'll pay them $8,000 or $9,000. But here's the kicker what he does, because it happened to me. He says, Scooter, I got $150,000 donated, and I need 3 J6ers, so I'm going to give you $50,000 for an attorney. I know you need the help. I said, right on, brother, I appreciate it. So this was about a year and a half ago. And he got shipped off to Lewisburg prison because of the trouble he was causing there. So his people contact me and say, hey, Jake Lang still wants to help you with the lawyer, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right. So I give him names of lawyers I want to hire with that 50 grand. And I also had somebody else that wanted to back me up for another 20 grand. So I'm about $70,000 to the good, I thought.
right.
So anyway, I go to send him addresses or numbers to these lawyers. And he's like, oh no, you can't do that. We're going to vet the lawyers for you and we'll find out what lawyer is good for you. I'm like, you're out of your goddamn mind. Excuse my language, but anyway, I tell Wong Kwong, I know exactly what you're doing. You want to bet your own. You got your own lawyers, and you're going to pay them a certain amount, and you're going to pocket $50,000 you said you gave Brian Jackson. I'm not stupid. I know exactly what you're doing. You're money laundering. You and Wong Kwong. But when I get here to the DC jail where he's at, I confront him about it. No, he doesn't smile at me. He goes, well, I can't help it, you didn't want my lawyers, blah, blah, blah. And so, anyways, I ended up walking away from him, and then the feud started, and I didn't know that there was a feud amongst 10, 15 other J6ers with the same problem.
Huh.
That's the DC gulag.
Huh.
And, he raised, the week that we chased him out of here, this is why we chased Jake Lang out of here, because he wrote an article to Gateway Pundit, apparently, which Jim Hoff publishes all his articles, regardless. I mean, he loves to do this stuff, but whatever. But anyway, we found this article that was out about J6ers being on lockdown in horrendous conditions. The correctional officers are torturing us. They're taking all our property, blah, 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 blah. It was a bunch of bullshit. And by the time I found this article, he'd raised about $7,000 or $8,000. And he said all the proceeds go to the J6ers in the Dickey Gulag. So I ran to his cell and said, hey, I see this article, and he said 100% of the proceeds go to the J6ers. here at the Google. He's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna get around to it, but you know, there's more J6ers and systems just us. I said, well, it's about $7,000 or $8,000. I think you can pretty much afford the money on everybody's books right now. If it's $50 or $100, we need it. Where's it at, Jake? Well, by the time we take him out of here about a few days later, he was about a week into this article before we made him leave. And he was at 40 grand with this article. Close to 40 grand. Did anybody see a penny of that money? Absolutely not.
Wow.
And when I talked about this the other night on the vigil, last night or night before, I'm not really for sure, I said a little bit more. So apparently, you know, his people listen to the vigil, you know, and I have said, and so his little, okay, so his people listen to the vigil, so now his little cronies, his little helpers, his little worker bees are texting some of the new guys and, hey, anything you need, brother, we got you, blah, blah, blah. Then there'll be a little personal message from Jake Lane. And these people don't have a clue who Jake Lane is. And they ask me, and they kind of look at me as crazy when I tell them who he is, you know? Because these new guys don't through 2 or 3 years with him. But, you know, like I say, you know, the money laundering this dude does, he raises money on J6's behalf. When we were at Lewisburg, he paid $1,000 for a TV so he could have it for himself in the day room he bought from the blacks there. With J6 money, he has been known to put money on non-J6ers books, other inmates of the jail, for protection. He has bought several cell phones in Brooklyn for $8,000 apiece.
Wow.
He bought one at Lewisburg prison, and they robbed him, took it from him, sold it back to him for another $8,000. And the same thing has happened to him at Brooklyn jail. We're buying these cell phones with J6er money. Also, you know, this is where all this J6 money is going that he raises. It's not going to the J6ers. Also, see what his little girlfriend's driving around in. She's driving around in a brand new Cadillac. I wonder who's paying for that. Yeah, he calls her Inspiration Barbie. Whoever she is, I don't know who she is. But I know her name is Rachel, and I do know that she drives a brand new Cadillac because I've seen the pictures and I've seen the thank you note to Jake Lane from her for buying that Cadillac for him. Of course, we do know that Jake Lane comes from a daddy that's a millionaire and has lots of money, but we also know that he steals our money and gives to other people and not J6ers. And that's the problem that we have to take
Okay.
Because he raises money for other people and himself.
Yeah,
I could go on and on about this dude, like I really could.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, our audience
And,
doesn't know much about Jake
No,
Lane, so that's why we wanted you to say.
well, you know, I've done time with Jake Lane, the rest of people haven't. I'm going to speak out about him because a lot of people don't know the truth about Jake Lane. They don't know the truth about a lot of things, and that's the problem. There's a lot of things we can't talk about because it's a double-edged sword. And trust me, I want to put a lot of things on blast about certain things, but
You can't.
like I said, I've been told not to say certain things about certain people because it's a double-edged sword, and it'll hurt us both. So I keep quiet. I don't want to keep quiet, but my lips have to be sealed for certain reasons. And certain people have asked me that I respect and love very much. So I'm gonna wait until this movement comes to an end when Trump wins. And I don't care with all these organizations that said they'd help the J6ers, and they have not. I will sue you, and I'm coming for you with the Fed, with the IRS, whoever it is. And I don't want a single penny, but I don't want you to keep the money neither. And I don't want you building lake houses, Cynthia Hughes, Picture Freedom Project, which is another one that steals money. Yeah, I don't know how she's affording to pay for a lake house, $1 million lake house, but, you know, everybody gets rich off J6ers. You know what? These organizations,
You have 1 minute remaining.
because if we're not in jail, they don't get no money. The cash cow
Exactly.
dries up, right?
Yeah.
But then again, I'm pretty sure they'll start a post J6 thing to keep the funding going. You know, it's a shame because all these American supporters out there, they donate to these organizations.
I think
And
there was,
I think we're being well taken care of. And
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, fundraisers, once they get going on fundraising, they can't give it up, so they'll change their entire cause to something else to keep it going.
Exactly. They'll rewrite it completely to keep that money. But anyway, thank y'all for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank
I'll call
you.
back next Friday and I'll rant some more about something else. We'll talk about
Yeah, give us your
anything y'all want
next
to talk about.
recipe.
I love y'all guys and I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for supporting us. God bless y'all.
You too.
And we'll see y'all at the next land. I think we got somebody else calling in too behind me, so be
Great.
patient. I'll get
Appreciate
you
it.
another caller.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Nothing like getting into it right away,
I
huh?
know, I love it.
Yeah, there's there's some issues with fundraising, there's issues with money around anything, as we know firsthand, there's issues with money.
Yeah.
That sounds like some pretty major stuff, so.
Yeah, he knew, I know he knows a lot about it, so figured our audience really doesn't know about
I
this.
don't.
So,
Yeah, I need to hear.
Except what's in the news.
Yeah.
What's
well-
in the articles. So,
Well, yeah, because when I was, after, I wrote a letter before I even saw any articles on him. I just went to the
Right.
Patriot Mail site and just randomly picked.
actually, I'll give you a couple of people that,
Good, give me some people,
would really need,
give me the ones that need it most, that
Mhm.
need some support,
yes.
both emotionally or.
Test.
And, well, that was, I was thinking about, does this sound corny to y'all?
Well, you're gonna have to use a microphone or something, because they can't hear you, 'cause-
Oh, I'm sorry,
Go
never
ahead.
mind,
No,
no,
go ahead.
never mind, nope.
all right.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we got kind of started late here. We didn't even do the prayer and Pledge of Allegiance, so we'll have to make up for that.
Oh,
But this is day 1255, I believe. Is that correct?
That's what I
1255?
understand, yeah.
Yep. June 14th, 2024. It is Flag Day as well.
And President Trump's birthday.
President Trump's birthday, and it is the first time in our republic that Pluto has made it around the sun one rotation. The last time was in 1776. So today is Pluto, a year for Pluto.
Wondering about that.
Maybe
Yeah.
around the,
All right, so a couple things here as usual. I really love Julie Kelly. If anybody is following J6, you need to follow Julie Kelly, whether it's on X or her Substacks or whatever. But she wrote a post here about, just again, she reviewed, this was from yesterday. She again reviewed the Fisher docket at SCOTUS. Not a single Republican attorney general or governor filed an amicus brief in the matter. If the appellate ruling in Fisher is reversed, meaning the court overturns how the DOJ applied the 1512C2 cases in January 6, it will mean hundreds of their constituents were wrongfully prosecuted and 100 plus were wrongly convicted of a felony. Now let that sink in a minute. Governors and representatives of all across this country have allowed this false charge to be applied, charged, and sentenced. And if it gets overturned, they're all going to be looking pretty stupid. The silence by Republican attorney generals and governors as this entire J6 prosecution proceeded can never be forgiven.
no, can't.
So here's the list of the people that have signed on to the amicus brief. In the Senate, Tom Cotton from Arkansas, Kevin Kramer from North Dakota, Mike Lee from Utah. In the House of Representatives, Jim Jordan, Ohio, Cliff Bentz, Oregon, Lauren Boebert, Colorado, Jerry Carl, Alabama, Michael Cloud, Texas, Matt Gaetz, Florida, Lance Gooden, Texas, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Georgia, Harriet Hageman, Wyoming, Diana Harshbarger, Tennessee, Lisa McClain, Michigan, Mary Miller, Illinois, Alex Mooney, West Virginia, Barry Moore, Alabama, Andy Ogles from Tennessee, from Pennsylvania, Matt Rosendale from Montana, Tom Tiffany, Wisconsin, and Michael Waltz from Florida. So 3 senators and about 20 representatives from the House have signed on to the amicus brief. Now, would you explain to everybody what an amicus brief is?
Yeah, that's just basically affirmation of something in front of the court where you're supporting a particular position. Normally it's made by people like the Heritage Foundation or think tanks, prominent politicians. I think recently one of our former attorney generals filed one. So anyway, they're very critical, and the judges look at them very carefully, and there have actually been cases overturned based on evidence found in amicus briefs, because sometimes they contain information that the court has not yet seen. So it's extremely important, not only on a factual basis, but as far as showing support. So such a small number of Republicans signing on really is shameful in what I think is going to be a slam dunk case. I think it's going to probably be a unanimous decision.
Thanks, John. I recall seeing, I think the term "friend of the court" is what.
Yeah, that's Latin for.
Latin for, yeah, here, look at this, we're going to help you out, kind of thing. So, interesting. Of course, we were waiting to hear on the 1512C decision, which did not come out today, that I believe.
Stay today.
And there was a ruling for the guy in New York who went up against the state on the bump stock and won. So that's pretty big for Second Amendment rights. What else in the Supreme Court? There's a lot of stuff going on there. You want to do any updates?
Yeah, I had a couple of things. Just a couple of updates. Dominic Box is having a bench trial next week, June 17th at 9 a.m. in the morning. Anthony Mustanduno is having his sentencing on June 27th at 12 noon. Francis Azari was sentenced, I think, to 60 months last week, and his father was sentenced for 30 months. We all know Christopher Quaglin received 12 years, and he was sentenced on May 24th.
Francis was 50 months. 50.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Dominic Box.
That's what I want to talk to him.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up. Your current balance is $49.22. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello, it's Dominic. This is Cheryl
Well,
Johnson.
hello, Northern Neck Patriot.
This is Cheryl Johnson and Tom Jeffries and some others.
Cheryl and Tom, hey. So I've got to first say, if I sound a little out of breath, it's because I just got done with a workout. My first one back in the Patriot Pod with my J6 brothers. I spent 69 incredibly dark, long days in solitary confinement. No disciplinary record, no institutional violations of any kind, but as I'm sure you guys know, things in the DC Gulag sometimes just happen. So I don't want to get lost in the weeds too much on that. But I did receive your letters, and I don't know if I actually sent a letter back in March to you, Cheryl. I don't know if you ever got that or not, but I wanted to let you guys know I did receive your letters, and getting mail both in and out of solitary here in the Gulag was incredibly difficult. So I didn't disappear, I didn't fall off the face of the earth. I just, on March 16th, I got moved down to the hole, and then it was a struggle on every front to get back, but through the grace of God, I am back, and I've actually been back for a couple of days, but it took a little bit of time to get adjusted, and had to get a workout in today, and I'm feeling good and glad to be back talking to you guys.
Great.
Well, we missed you. I sent you a
Absolutely.
letter, and I don't know, I asked you, where are you? I asked you. I don't know if you got that yet.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you get the letter that I sent? I think it was like March 14th or 15th. Did
Yes.
you get it was a longer. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure, because that's one of the questions that a lot of us have, and I'm sure you guys have heard those complaints before, that mail both getting in and out can be a real head scratcher.
Right,
Yeah, we missed you, and I was
Yep.
wondering where you were.
Yep, I'm doing okay. Like I said, happy to be back. And speaking of happy birthday to President Trump.
Yay! Happy birthday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how are you guys doing?
Wonderful, thank you. Very good.
Awesome.
I'll write
Awesome.
about
Well,
it.
first of all, thank you very much, guys. I don't like to ask for too much, but I've actually got trial this Monday, so it's my half birthday, which is the thing we used to do as a kid. So I guess the universe is winking at me and playing I don't know if we'll call it a cruel joke. It's my day in the sun. It's finally come, and I'm ready to cross this thing with clear eyes and a full heart. And I know that God can make this all go away in an instant, and I'm just ready to cross. Not necessarily the finish line, but to confront this and put this part of the process behind me. So if I know you guys are some prayer warriors and you take care of us in a lot of ways, but if you can just spare a couple prayers for me Sunday night and Monday morning, not to complain too much, but I was on another unit as I explained, and my mom, who I've not seen for over a year, got approved for an extended visit on the other unit that I was on for Tuesday. My trial's on Monday, visits on that unit were on Tuesday, and then they unexpectedly moved me back here to C3A, where the January 6th pod, and no amount of pleading, pulling, prodding, or professional pleading from my lawyer would allow them to honor the prior approval. So despite previously being on the unit with these gentlemen, now apparently it's a security risk. And my mom, she couldn't bear the thought of just coming to watch for a couple hours and not actually be able to give me a hug or see me. So I know that the courtroom's going to be full of the patriots in the area. But if you guys could also say, a prayer for my mom as well. And, it's not just me, but it's not just us going through this, it's our families too. And it's really tough when they try to navigate and do all the right things, and these unexpected hurdles come up. Because I made a commitment to her. I said, Mom, if you're willing to take the time off of work, I knew that there was a pathway for me to get back here on the unit. And I said, I'm not going to, file the paperwork or anything. Let's just get you through this visit. And then, thankfully, I wanted to get back, but they got me back here faster than expected. And, just to make a long story short, I would just, appreciate some prayers for her, because it's really tough, and she's, appreciates everything you guys do for taking care of us. She's probably listening right now. So she loves the Northern Neck Patriots, and even though I was never there at that facility, she knows the kind of incredible work that you guys do, standing watch for us and keeping our memory and the J6 story alive. So Mom, I love you, and so does everybody else that's listening now. So that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope she's listening. And so do you think that because of your trial coming up, that's how they somehow decided to bring you out of the shoe?
I'm going to be honest. I really don't know. It's one of those things where I think I've kind of they actually moved me all over the jail, to several different units, and I found that just let go and let God, things tend to happen. So it was something that I was begging, pleading, and praying for a long time. And when I finally was just like, you know what, it's going to happen when it's going to happen, God snapped his fingers and brought me back. And ultimately, it would be a really tough thing to have to, like I said, to see my mom for the first time in a year, have it just be in a courtroom when, again, God can work miracles and make this all go away. But more than likely, it's, things are going to go the government's way on Monday. And I would, I'd much rather be able to see her and, hug her and tell her what's going on, and not, have that through the muzzle of a courtroom. So I must also, he's not by me right now, so I'll tell you guys, not only am I feeling good, but I'm looking good too. Curtis Tate is our new pod barber. He's doing an incredible job, and the guys kind of ribbed me, and they said, "Why do you look so homeless?" I said, "Guys, I've been in the hole for 3 months. I haven't been able to shave or cut my hair." But despite a few strands of hair falling out with the stress of this whole process, I'm feeling like I got like a $60, $70 haircut. And if you guys can believe it, it's part of the all-inclusive resort that we're all staying on. And I get the free haircut. It was good. The one thing that I'm also praying for, guys, I saw the bump stock reversal from the Supreme Court. I'm one of those lucky few that's been charged with that 1512 obstruction charge. So I was kind of hoping that would come down the pipes today, but praying that the Supreme Court sees the insanity of, what is it, like over 300 of us being charged with an evidence destruction charge, despite, from what I know, none of us destroying any evidence or tampering with witnesses. So maybe that'll come down Monday, delay things a little bit. But, what are you guys feeling about that? I read the oral argument, leaning towards the side of the J6 defendants. Have you guys heard anything, or what do you think about that?
We haven't heard anything. I was watching for it too, but I agree with you. I think that they know it's headed that direction, and now it's a matter of timing. Quaglin's judge, who was that? Do you remember?
McFadden.
McFadden actually in that sentencing, in Quaglin's sentencing, said twice that the 1512C didn't look good for at the Supreme Court, but doesn't influence his sentencing in any way. So he was distancing himself away from it. So even if it does fall, it won't impact on that particular decision.
Wow. Well, and I will say, Quaglin, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get back in time to see Brother Quaglin before he left, but I won't say how. I was able to, I'm not going to call it smuggle, but I was able to get a letter to him. And I know he loves talking to you guys, and I pray that, I assume he's in Philadelphia. He was one of the guys that, man, I call myself, one of the late arrivals, but getting back here, it's, there's so many new people here. But it's just, I want to say thank you to Chris and Jeff Sable and all the other guys that came before me to make this process so much easier. And it's really interesting, guys. I got here last November, and now I'm one of the, even though I'm new to some of the guys in here, one of the more senior individuals. And, Lord willing, I'll be here through at least the election in November. But shout out to Chris, and I just want to say, I know he's probably not listening right now, but thank you, buddy, for everything you did to make me feel welcome and teach me how to really navigate this process. He's despite what Judge McFadden said, he's a really good guy.
Dominic, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is John Haynes with the Northern Neck Sentinel. And the reason
hey, John.
Good to talk to you. The reason I'm butting in here is I just want to make sure you know the latest edition of the Sentinel has 2 front-page articles concerning Quaglin. One is directly about him and has extensive quotes from his hearing, and the other is about several members of the Northern Neck Patriots who went up to attend his hearing. And I know you can't get paper copies, but you can see the whole edition at www.nnsentinel.com. So if you can just get access to a computer, you can read both articles. They're pretty extensive.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to say too much, but that may be able to be facilitated. But another thing I would say to anybody that's listening out there, mom included, if you guys get on the GTL, the Getting Out app, and you copy and paste us, we'd love to receive any articles on my GiveSendGo, which is givesendgo.com/free.j6. It's got the instructions on how you can get in touch with me, and I would love to see those articles. I'll do my best to get on a computer, but I know for a while we were actually, I think Cheryl was actually sending us the paper copies. I've got 2 that have followed me throughout the jail, just because I love reading them. You guys do an incredible job, and I just want to say, thank you for, again, keeping his story alive. And again, any Patriots that are out there listening, my DOC number is 387-287. Feel free to add me on the Getting Out app. Please copy and paste and send me those articles, because really, along with the Epic Times, the Northern Neck Sentinel, like I said before, I think I said in my letter, it's literally one of, especially being in DC, one of the few bastions of truth in print media, and we really appreciate that. On that note, I will also, not to talk about me too much, but I will be on the Cowboy Logic Show tomorrow on Real America's Voice at 6 a.m. and again at 9 p.m. on Sunday at 4 p.m. and then Monday at 1 a.m. And I've put some of my writings up from my time in solitary confinement. It was 69 days. It was not all bad. I mean, I made the best of it. I've worked out. I've gotten in better shape. I read 15 books in the month of April. I finally cracked into the Count of Monte Cristo. So Cheryl, thank you for that. And again, any support, prayers, or anything you guys can send is greatly appreciated. And more than anything, just please keep me in your thoughts on Monday, because it's I really wish I could have pushed this thing out until the end of June, but we've all got to cross that line when it comes, and my day is Monday. So.
Well, we'll be thinking about you, and also
Praying for you.
those 2 articles that you just spoke about, they're in the mail already to you. I photocopied it
Awesome.
and it's on its way.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Hey, they are calling trades right now, so I've got to run and help get those passed out. But I'm going to make sure that somebody else hops on. I wanted to say again to the Northern Neck Patriots, everybody out there that's listening, Mom and Patriots around the world. Thank you guys for continuing to support us, pray for us, and encourage us. Even though it's a whole set of new faces, the atmosphere, vibe, and just overall, feeling in here continues to stay high. And no matter how many men and women they decide to run through this gauntlet, both the men and women that are in here and the people that are outside listening right now are going to continue to take care of each other, because we will continue to not only make America great again, but keep America great and turn this country red. So thank you guys so much. My name is Dominic Xavier Box, 387-287, back in cell number 1 in the DC.
Sounds
Good
good.
luck.
You're number 1.
Cell number 1.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Dominic.
Thank you.
Thank you for using Global Telling.
Copy and send it to him. So that's,
It wasn't me, but I know who it was. And you can watch Cowboy Logic on Rumble too, and not,
so
it'll come out on
I know
Sunday.
those are 2 of
Yeah.
those that they would like. So
Yeah, so go to Rumble.
I always send
It's
it.
on
I always want,
DirecTV Saturday night.
On what TV, Britt?
DirecTV Saturday
Oh,
night
yeah.
at 8 o'clock.
That's the one we were talking about. So getting back to the updates, Jeff Sable just arrived in Fort Dix, New Jersey. Christopher Quaglin is now transitioning, but he's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania right now. Scott Miller is in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Ron Meals in Oakland, Louisiana. Andrew Taki's in Philadelphia. And we have some new people over in the Gulag. I was listening to him the other day. Joshua Atwood, Benjamin Burlew, Ricardo Cook, Jonathan Copeland, Gregory Purdy, Robert Turner, Tucker Weston. And as you heard, Dominic Box is out of the shoe, and he's been there since for 69 days, just was released on June 12th. I wanted to share something that got me emotional the other day. I received, I communicate with Kyle Young, and he's a J6er, and a lot of people know him. But I write to him a lot, and we write back and forth maybe once a day, twice a day, a lot. And he sent me, a lot of people know that my husband's in the hospital right now. And
Hey, Maurice, we see you.
and he's he'll hopefully be out in less than a week, or anyway. So I told Kyle about this, and he wrote back, and I just wanted to read what he said. He's in jail, and he says, "I'm sorry, so sorry about your husband, Maurice. Is he doing any better? Does he need surgery or anything like that? Do they know why this all happened to him? I'll pray for him when I get off from work here. That has to be hard to see a loved one like that. You both will be in my thoughts. Do you need anything? You help us out all the time, and we are all in this together. We got your back, too. I know I'm in prison, but I can talk to people that would help out. Well, they better. Even if it's just praying for you, or if you need gas money, I'll try my best to help you. thank you, and I wish you all the best. And he's in jail, and he's wanting to help me. I just thought that was so sweet.
Kyle Young.
Well, I've got just to fill in real quickly, I've got an update that some of you just mentioned Andrew Taki being put in Philly temporarily. He's recently gone through his sentencing. A few months ago, Andrew Taki was attacked by a fellow, I wouldn't call him a J6er, but someone else who was arrested on that day who's affiliated with Antifa. And at the time, they weren't quite sure. The fellow's name, by the way, is Zachary Alam. I think a lot of you are familiar with him. He's a turncoat, a traitor. But anyway, for no particular reason, he attacked Taki. And at the time, there was some speculation that he had been put up to it by the guards because Taki was getting ready to get sentenced, and they were trying to do anything they could to make him look bad. And they were really suspicious because this was just out of the blue. There was no argument beforehand. It was just an attack. And at first I thought, well, maybe, Taki's a big fella, and Alam's not that big. And I thought about it, and it really didn't make sense. Well, now it does make sense. They were right all along. At the sentencing hearing, the judge specifically brought this incident up and used it to portray Taki as being a violent person who attacked someone just for no reason. Of course, that's the exact opposite of what really happened. But he used that as a justification to give him an even harsher sentence than he would have already gotten. So this just shows you the degree of collaboration between the officials in these jails and prisons and our federal government. And it just goes to show that the feds are behind all of this. We know that, of course, from all the information coming out now where all these indictments against Trump were all orchestrated directly by the White House. So this is just one more example, and I think all of you that keep in touch with the J6ers know they're still being harassed, even when they go in the prison system. Their spouses and families are being surveilled and threatened. I don't want to be very specific. I think all of you would know some of these people. I just don't want to make it any harder. Things settle down. The feds are still after them, and this is not going to continue unless there's a favorable result on November 5th.
That's pretty cool. I just saw what you sent me from Drew.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have access to laptops and the internet inside the jail.
I think you're probably right.
They don't have access to the internet.
They don't have access to the internet, but they can get a laptop to do certain things.
Depends on which way the wind's blowing today.
Which way the wind's blowing, yeah. Yeah.
People can send them things that are on the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Copies and PDFs and things.
It's not an easy process, but it gets done.
That's how I send out looks.
Tell me, you want me to go into this thing with Ivan Raiklin and the two local
Yeah, give
people
me
that are on this list?
1 second. Yeah, Kathy and Zach Alam is the one that broke the window. Yes,
Yes.
indeed. I also have heard a rumor that this was early on, like, months into after J6, that he had a tattoo on his forearm that said 200,000 in 2022,
I've heard the same thing.
21.
Also, he, during J6, he was yelling about killing all the pigs, and during his post-arrest interview, he said that one of his aims going there was hoping that Trump supporters would be killed. Shows you which side of the game he's on.
Yeah. Well, go ahead if you want to an update, you said.
Yeah, I'll stifle myself if we get a call in here. Anyway, there's a gentleman named Ivan prominent individual, and he's been deeply involved in all this. His way of background, he's a retired U.S. Lieutenant Colonel, former Green Beret constitutional attorney. He served 25 years in DoD intelligence and special operations, and he's done extensive research. He's also been very helpful to Mickey Whithoff and the For Ashley group. I know that Tom here has talked with him and met with him. And one of the things that Mr. Rakeland has come up with is his list of 350 names that need to be investigated and hopefully prosecuted. But what would be interesting, and these are the 350 that he considers to be the worst of the worst. Well, two of them are local residents, David and Janice Carians. They both signed on to the infamous 51 Spies Who Lied letter, and hopefully they will soon be, at least after the election, facing litigation. You'll probably recognize David Carian's name in that he's a constant writer in all the local weekly papers. And if you just read anything David writes. He's a real piece of work. But anyway, I just wanted you all to know that we've got a couple celebrities in our midst. And if you see David, please give him my kindest regards. We're very close.
So, John, thanks for bringing that up. This is Ivan Rakeland calls this his deep state target list, and maybe there's a way for me to put that in the chat. But I got this. If you follow Ivan Rakeland on X or anything like that, you can get to it. But that's kind of, and I think I need to look up Ivan's website, because that's the other way to do it. Let me look at that.
I think he's got a Substack too.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of stuff.
But in the meantime, if you get a chance, that's IvanRaiklin. You can do a brief search, and you'll find out all kind of information on this guy. He's extremely well-versed, and he's just got an amazing background. So I'd recommend you follow him. You'll learn a lot.
So it's very simple. It's www.raiklin.com, and that'll get you started. And it's got some clips in there for Fox News and other things. But yeah, he's a very intelligent guy, and he's got the facts. He's got the goods. He's been doing this. He's been in intelligence work, teaching intelligence activities and processes and research and how you go about, gathering information on subjects and all of that. So he knows exactly how this works. And he also goes by the moniker of Secretary of Retribution, I believe. So I sure hope that we get to see some of that happening.
In fact, I'm working on an article on him right now.
Some piece of paper I had, and I don't know what I do with it.
What you looking for?
It was a piece of paper I had something on that I can't find. But what a, I'm trying to remember.
I'll just wing it. So I asked someone about who's in Philadelphia about whether there's a J6 pod over there, since everybody kind of goes through it, and whether they see each other or whatever. And he said, no, there's not a J6 pod, but when they go out, there is not like at the Gulag that they see each other all the time. But I had that, and I hate to just talk about it without having it in front of me. But anyway.
So Zaris are there.
They're there.
So Maurice, you notice we don't have the banner up tonight. We couldn't find the key to where it's stored in the closet, so that's why you don't see the banner.
Let's see.
So the deep state target list, John, I was trying to understand what and why, because I just found it, glanced at it. I think I looked up at the Carians as well. But for why he's got it color-coded.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out.
But he does have, okay, wait, he does have context. I gotta share this with folks, so.
So, Ivan Raiklin's deep state target list. The green headings are Flynn unmasking. So all those individuals had something to do with that, because if you remember, people have to go to a grand jury, I believe, or what was it, but a court that allows the feds to look in on your stuff to basically unmask you. So that's what that was all about, and Flynn got hit hard. This next blue section is the Biden laptop. So that's probably our 51 spies who lied on that. Next one is the 2020 election. And so what he does is he calls out their names, what was about, their Twitter handles, profiles, and then any other notes that he has on here about them. But basically what he's saying, he's really pushing for Elon Musk to help to unmask these Twitter files so that we can get to see exactly what they were communicating and how they were doing it. Why not? If anybody knows Elon, put in a good word. The 2020 election, Ronna McDaniel is the very top one. Mitt Romney, Robin Voss, Paul Ryan, Reince Priebus. I mean, he's going after Brian Kemp, Raffensperger, Stacey Abrams. 2016 election, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Dennis McDonough, Kamala Harris, on and on. I like that one. Crossfire Hurricane Team, James Baker, James Comey, Jonathan Weiner, Andrew McCabe. I mean, these are some names here. Rosenstein, Christopher Steele, Lindsey Graham, Richard Burr, the Ukraine Whistleblower Team, Alexander Vindman. I don't know a whole lot about those folks. Here's one on the impeachment managers, number 1. Here's one on impeachment managers, number 2. J6 Police Forces, Harry Dunn, top of the list. Michael Fanone, number 2, as should be. Denver Riggleman, Lila Morris, who beat Roseanne. Senseless, right? Roseanne right here on my back. J6 in general, Nancy Pelosi, Terry McCullough, Paul Pelosi, Christine Pelosi, her daughter, who did the videos that are flying all over the internet right now, all over X. Paul Ryan, John Boehner, Ray Epps, John Sullivan, Jade Sacker, John Nichols, Mike Pence, Sophia Boza-Holman, Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, Chuck Schumer, and Muriel Bowser. Next section, J6 committees. And J6 witness. Next section, Fulton County, Georgia Council, Fannie Willis, and so on. Next section, COVID-19. CV-19, I assume that's what that means. Mike Pence, Anthony Fauci, Vice Admiral Jerome Adams, Deborah Birx, Jared Kushner, Alex Azar, Michael Bloomberg, Rochelle Walensky, Albert Bourla, Francis Collins, Stephanie Banchel, Robert Blair. Next section, DMA. What do you think DMA is, John?
GMA?
D as in dog. Probably defense something. don't know. I'll have to find out what that one is. He's got a section on NIH, a couple people there. Censorship in general, media. Just
I hope I'm not on that list.
yeah, John Haynes. No, I don't see it down there. He calls out all of the big ones: Politico, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, and he does like Trump. He makes fun of them, you know, like he calls the FBI the FB lie. Well, Ivan Raikland, pretty interesting guy. I think it's worth a follow.
Yeah, I've got a little local follow-up for those who actually live in the region. David and Janice Carians are the two former CIA employees that were on that list. And just to show you the way these people operate, Mr. Carians was also involved in a similar plot to take down another famous patriot, namely yours truly. I guess it's been nearly 3 years ago. We were having a rash of thefts, and I started checking into it, and a friend of mine, I'm not going to say how, but I gained possession of a series of emails of some local citizens plotting to destroy the Northern X Sentinel through thieving, through intimidating my advertisers, boycotts. They had all kinds of stuff. And David Carians was right in the thick of it. And I've got all this in writing. In fact, I published some of it at one time. Also, with the head of the Essex County Democrat Party, the head of the Northumberland County Democrat Party, the current secretary of the Electoral Board in Northumberland County, and I could go on, but it was like a who's who of local lefties. So the reason I'm making this point is these people, they're on this list. This is not a one-off. This is the way these people live their lives. They constantly spread lies and information. They intimidate people. They have no ethics, no morals, no scruples. They don't care who gets hurt to get their way. So I did find out, I believe it's just yesterday, that Congress has issued some type of statement where they want to do an investigation into these 51 individuals with the goal of indicting them. So it looks like they're finally getting ready to get a little serious about this, and we can only pray that it comes to pass. I think it was just yesterday. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I think, yep.
So we don't have our organizers to make the calls here tonight. I think that's part of what we're dealing with.
Tom, I forgot one important thing about what I just said. The reason a lot of this came out is because in Hunter Biden's drug and the convictions he just got, the three convictions, on the gun primarily, the FBI had to admit under oath that not only was the laptop authentic, but they knew about it since the end of 2015. So that's why they now feel confident enough to make these criminal referrals. I'm sorry I left that out.
I just wanted to, this is kind of random, but this is one of our Virginia congressmen that I've been following. His name is Morgan Griffith, and he's on the 9th District. Dead battery. I'll follow that when I change that.
He was one of the...
Test. Morgan Griffith sat on the hearing on the committee that had the whistleblower hearing with the gentleman that came in to testify that the National Guard was never called. And so I was impressed by his questioning then, so I just kind of looked him up, and I've been following him and subscribing. He puts out a weekly newsletter. Now our congressman sends out a weekly, survey. This gentleman sits down and takes the time to write some really wonderful stuff. 9th District is Bedford County, and in Bedford, Virginia, there is a World War II memorial there, and dedicated to did a veterans memorial. So, and they also are very big. They have veteran programs, and there was a veteran home out there for a while too. I think that's still in existence. It was a hospital that turned into a retirement home. But just wanted to, he's talks in this about the Chevron doctrine, and let's jump into this because I wasn't familiar with it, but he says the U.S. Supreme Court has decided some notable cases in 2024. Donald Trump v. Anderson was a unanimous decision by the justices to allow Trump on this year's ballot, despite states like Colorado and Maine who wanted to remove him. State official accused of coercing banks and insurers into cutting ties with the NRA by threatening regulatory action. And among some of the cases set for decisions later this summer are Loper Bright Enterprises versus Raimondo and Relentless Inc. v. Department of Commerce. Loper and Relentless Inc. represents commercial fishing groups whose operations encompass the Atlantic herring fishery. The National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, requires that fishermen to abide by a litany of regulations. Amongst these regulations are ones requiring the commercial fishermen to alert regulators before they set out to fish. The fishermen's locations are tracked. Sometimes the fishermen have to allow a government-mandated federal observer to be present on the boat to collect data and information about their catch. But wait, there's more. NOAA's budget from Congress did not provide funding for NOAA to do on-the-boat observation of the fishermen's activities. So what did NOAA do? They forced the fishermen to hire third-party monitors and made the fishermen pay the third-party monitors' salaries. USA Today states this rule cost the fishermen up to $700 a day. If they do not pay, these actions as necessary and appropriate for the conservation and management of fisheries. Even though Congress never specifically authorized these actions to be a part of conservation and management, the fishermen bear these burdensome requirements because they were upheld under the Chevron doctrine at the appellate level. This rule comes from Chevron USA Inc. versus Natural Resource Defense Council, and the case number, but doesn't give me the date. The Chevron doctrine states if an agency asserts that it has jurisdiction to take action in order to fulfill its overall purpose, that deference would go to the agency unless a claimant could prove that the action was not a permissible construction. This is true if congressional language is in any way ambiguous. Apparently, a permissible construction allows NOAA to force commercial fishermen to pay to have NOAA third-party agents aboard their ships. The Chevron doctrine at one time even saw the Environmental Protection Agency try to claim that trailers for a tractor-trailer were self-propelled motor vehicles, notwithstanding that there is no motor. The EPA backed down, but it shows just how far some activists inside agencies will push the boundaries of the Chevron doctrine. Ruling to be overturned or legislatively eliminated. The original 1984 ruling was an improper shift of authority from Congress to administrative agencies. When Congress delegates regulatory authority to agencies, it should be clear and authoritative. When the authority is unclear or not specifically granted to an agency, the court should rule against the agency. Congress will then either let the court decision stand or take action to grant the specific authority. I'm going to stop there because it's getting kind of long, but it's pretty fascinating. Just learned a lot in just reading that. And I got to tell you, Congressman Griffith, Morgan Griffith, 9th District, really my hat's off to you, sir. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah, well, this is how the administrative state gets away with so much. And I know one of our regular participants, Maurice Johnson, who's ill tonight, has brought this up before. And what it did, basically, it said if it's unclear whether a ruling is proper or not, the assumption is always in the favor of the government agency. And some of the language goes to the fact that, well, they do this for a living, they're experts. Well, if you know anything about the government, they're anything but experts. They're usually run by ideologues or political appointees. They generally don't have a clue what they're doing. So this is trying to put things back in the proper perspective where it's assumed that the agency is wrong. In other words, they have to assume the burden of proof. And if you see that, it's going to change a lot of things. Because even locally, a lot of the fees you're charged, a lot of the, perfect example is COVID. These counties did not have the authority to restrict people, make them wear a mask to public meetings or any of this stuff. And when they were pressed on it legally after the fact, the CDC admitted they don't have the legal authority. And then they said, well, it was just a recommendation. Okay, there's a difference between a recommendation and a law. And it's about time people started figuring that out, including our leaders.
John, do you want to talk about the situation in Westmoreland County at the supervisor level while we're on this kind of topic about local government and our leaders in general? I did talk to Larry Hinson briefly, but I didn't get a whole lot of detail from him, so maybe you've got some more, I don't know.
Yeah, this will probably interest the local people a little more, but the same theme carries out no matter where you go. Recently, there's been a lot of turnover on the Board of Supervisors in Westmoreland County. 3 of their longtime supervisors, 2 in particular, are no longer there. I'm sorry, 2 of them are, and that would be Daryl Fisher and Woody Henson. They've been there, I believe, about 30 years. Well, anyway, they hired a new administrator back in January, a very distinguished fellow, Ben Prescott, retired Army colonel, excellent references. And unfortunately, he started uncovering some curious things to do with large fees being waived and favors being done and whatever. Anyway, long story short, 2 of the supervisors finally managed to enlist a third, and they decided among the 3 of them to immediately remove Prescott. The other 2 supervisors were not even aware of this, those being Matt Ingram and Tim Trivette. And in this current edition, we have a very lengthy article with extensive quotes from them detailing how. One point to take away from this, and it's still evolving, is during the closed meeting, Mr. Prescott, the administrator who was being removed, asked why he was being removed. The county attorney, Richard Stewart, who of course is also a state senator, advised the board not to answer his question. Now, the way they're going to try to get away with this, I can tell you in advance, they're going to say Virginia's right to work state. You're not required by law to give a reason for dismissal. And on its face, that's true. But that only has a limited application to government. If it is found out with reasonable certainty that the reason that's being withheld is to cover criminal activity, then it is no longer binding. So that is an illegitimate reason that he gave, and I would invite anybody listening, and we've had a lot of public input already, to find out anything you can. We're talking about some freedom of information requests type things. But this is a real big deal, and it shows you to what extent these people will go to cover their own hind parts. And again, if you can't get a paper copy, go to the website. We also have an extensive digital distribution operation. But if you don't think these things, if you do think these things happen only in Washington, wake up. It's probably happening in your own backyard, and the only way to stop it is for you personally to get involved. Thank you.
www.nnsentinel.com.
What you got? Anything? Is that your book? Or is that Cheryl's?
Which one?
That.
Oh, that's just mine. Oh, that's just my stuff.
Nice. I like to keep my stuff organized.
Yeah.
3-ring binders work for me.
Me too.
Maurice is pretty active on the chat, Cheryl. He must have
Is he?
done good today.
Good.
He says he's all over it.
Tell him to eat, drink your soup.
Yeah, right.
And order your soup. No
Or
adult
get some of that
beverages.
cheesecake, who's the fellow making the cheesecake for Trump's birthday?
Is he allowed to laugh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Who's the fellow making the cheesecake? What was it? That was Scooter, it's Brian.
Brian Jackson, yeah.
Okay.
That, I mean, when he started down that road, I was like, you know what? Oh, that's why it's been beeping. My phone gets too hot.
So what is he saying on the chat? I guess I should read it.
Oh,
Because you can't see the chat after it's over.
yeah, you can.
I'm on my phone.
Oh, not on your phone. I see it online.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Say hi.
folks, what do we want to do?
I just asked Brian if he was having more people call.
In case some of you haven't noticed, things are a little quiet tonight, and a lot of that is because of the transition that's going on right now as the J6 hostages work their way through the system. Once they are sentenced and they end up at their destination within the Bureau of Prisons, it's very, very difficult for them after that point to communicate. So what's happening is not that the need's diminished, but there are just physically less and less people still in detention, so less people to call. Also, the long-term detainees have almost all worked through the system. Brian Jackson, who you heard from earlier, is one of the few left that have been here over the long haul. By that I mean roughly 3 years. So anyway, this is something that's going to, it's beyond our control, and it's in some ways positive. But of course, there are a lot of other things that we have to fill in information. And luckily, a lot of these guys are starting to get out. So we can talk with them, their families. If any of you have any ideas, things you'd like us to discuss, let us, in particular, Tom, know, and we'll try to work something out. But I don't mean to speak for everybody, but from what I understand, we're going to keep things going. We're going to adapt to whatever the situation evolves into. And then hopefully on November 5th, we'll have a whole new set of marching orders. So all I'm saying is don't be concerned if the format changes. It's natural, it's expected, but we will find things that interest you to keep things going.
Yeah, John, I think that's a great point. We may get into doing some interviews and things like that and trying to put those out. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, there's how many, who knows here, how many are in the DC Gulag now?
I
Somebody's,
can give you the whole list.
so there's one female,
Oh, really? Who's that?
Olivia Pollock.
Olivia what?
Pollock.
It's,
P-O-L-O-C-K. Has your brother gotten out?
No, he's in there. He was in the shoe as well and just got out of the shoe. And last Friday night, she mentioned that morning she happened to look out the window in the exercise yard where all the guys are out there and they're waving and pointing, and out comes her brother.
There's 22 in the pod.
22 in the pod.
One I have a lot of questions about, and another one that's still in holding.
So there's 22 in the pod. One that there's questions about where or what they're doing, and then another one that's in a holding area. That means he's entering in. Yeah.
And Olivia.
And Olivia. So 25.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the new guys, a couple of them have been told they can't talk by their lawyers, and some of them are just still in shock because they have no idea.
Right.
she didn't give me a letter, but she mentioned mentioned me on last week's vigil bench trial.
Is it okay if we talk and say his name or not?
I think so, yeah.
So Cheryl got something that I had asked her to send something to Mark Brew. It was about Leedstown, Virginia. So you Googled it, and this is what you sent him? All right, so Cheryl did
Oh, plus whatever you sent me.
Yeah, so I had a copy of the Leedstown Resolve, which is I think it's 2 pages. It's sort of a predecessor of the Declaration of Independence, as were several other documents where people came out and basically went on record. This was 10 years prior to the Declaration. So, but it was about the Stamp Act and about stamped paper. And so the government, the British Crown, was trying to force this particular tax on people. And how do you tax people? Well, you take something that they use on a daily basis or need on a daily basis, and you make it more expensive. So they basically were trying to control the type of paper. It had to be stamped paper for all correspondence and mail and things like that. Well, these folks said, this is not going to work. And so they put together the Leedstown Resolves, and they basically stood behind it at their risk of their health and livelihoods, committing to one another to not let this happen. So it was fascinating, and it's just local history here, not 20 miles away, Leedstown, Virginia. So Cheryl sent this out to him, and so his response was, yeah, he did get it, and he wanted to know if the one signer was William Booth, whether he was related to John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln. Anyway, it was pretty cool that he had this. He went into the Freemasons and all of that, so he knows a little bit about some of this stuff. The only law the feds know is Babylonian contract law. We call it adhesion contracts, where the movant offerer has the advantage over the one who accepts the offer. They swindle you into contracts by asking questions. The moment you answer the question, you have assumed to have accepted the offer. Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, he's talked about that kind of thing on the vigils before.
I've got something I might add. A lot of people are trying to figure out the best way to help the J6ers, and I commend all of you that write to them and have been contributing. But there's some of you who don't have the time or wherewithal or resources to do a lot of research. So there is one way that, and I don't mean this to be a political statement, I'm just being logical. I think you're all familiar with Donald Trump's stance on the J6 situation. He plans on pardoning all those, except with rare exceptions, ones who did anything particularly egregious. But even in that case, they would have already served more time than they should have. But anyway, long story short, if he gets in office, it's going to be a whole new game for these J6 detainees, who I lovingly refer to as hostages. So one group I recently contributed to, and by way of background, I haven't given money to the Republican Party in years. I didn't trust them. I didn't think that they would use the money the way I'd want. But of course, all that changed a couple months ago with the removal of Ronna McDaniel Romney and the installation of Laura Trump. And their fundraising figures, as you probably all know, has just gone through the roof. Now, one organization that's been really, really dominant, and they've raised over $400 million since Trump was convicted, is called WinRed, WINRED. And it's excellent. You can donate any amount, even very small amounts. And over a quarter of their donations are people brand new to the process, which is incredibly encouraging. Now, I will tell you, you're going to get a lot of email if you contribute, but most of it's pretty positive, and it's actually pretty interesting. A lot of it's like where you can get special deals to buy Trump merchandise, and you get little lotteries to get autographed pictures, but whatever. But if you're not sure how to help the J6ers, that's one sure way that you can help. I'd still recommend that all of you write and help with Canteen and keep doing that. If you're already doing it, don't even worry about WinRed. But a lot of you who don't have the means to participate in that, you can help. And, every little bit helps, because no matter how hard we all work, if Joe Biden's in there another 4 years, things are not going to be very good. So, just do what you can. I don't care if you send them $10. Everything you do is helpful. And don't forget, the first thing, or the main objective they have is to discourage you, to make you think, well, gee, that's not enough to help. But it is enough to help. Don't forget, when we defeated the British in the Revolutionary War, we were not the majority, but we were a very committed and brave minority. And that's what we need now, a brave and committed minority.
I think that's dead on, John, and I feel like I see it. I see it all the comments. I see the people that come out and support. I see the people that are supporting families and all these folks. And it's going to come to a head. It is boiling, so it's going to get there. We've still got some disappointments. Dominic was basically saying he's hoping for a flash of sunshine, a ray of hope, but he's also relegated himself to that he's probably going to get the same sentencing nonsense thrown at him. So they've got a few more of these to get through, but I'm telling you, the more these people come out and start to talk about their experiences, that's when it's going to get very interesting. Very, very interesting. Did you have something to say?
No.
So to that end, I think we need to talk about when we go back to Northern Neck Regional Jail with our vigils, and I think we want to talk about when we start to bring in people that can lay a face and a name to the accusations that some of those board members have heard, and just say, well, that can't have happened here, that would never happen here. So
Second Wednesday of the month now.
Second Wednesday of the month?
For the Northern Neck Regional Jail board meeting.
Still 4 p.m.? So it changed from the first Monday to the second Monday, and they did that because they wanted to help their administrative staff have more time to prepare the month-end books before the board meeting, I guess. Right?
Yeah, because people started actually looking at it.
People started looking at the books.
I've actually talked to Tom about this before, and as you know, we were very active presence at the jail board meetings for a long time until they released all the prisoners. And at that point, we realized that there wasn't a lot of sentimentalism connected anymore since the prisoners weren't physically there. But as you can see, we've continued the vigils themselves. Part of that, too, is the fact that the former superintendent, Ted Hull, and the most devious of the board members, Norm Rasavi, both left. And we were hoping that under new leadership, things would change. Well, from what I can gather by talking to various sources, they really haven't changed. It's probably not quite as obnoxious as the Hull regime was, but the conditions, from what I've heard, have not improved. Now, a couple other things have come about. Some of these people have started coming out of the system. There's a current article about one of them named Brandon Fellows, who a lot of you saw at a recent congressional hearing, the Fauci hearing, voicing his skepticism over Mr. Fauci's remarks. In fact, he was ultimately removed from the proceeding. He was very outspoken as to sentencing also, as was Chris Quaglin. But anyway, I think that some of these people that are now coming out would be willing to come to the meetings and make a statement. I have a long-term former employee of theirs I've been talking to, I think would be able to do the same. So I'd urge all of you, a lot of you know people that have worked at the jail before. Urge them to come forward. I'll work with them. And, you know, I think when we go back, we need to go back with a vengeance, because we kind of gave them a chance to clean up their act. They completely ignored it. And one of the great things about this tragedy the J6ers have gone through is it's exposed the evil within our penal system. I always knew it was bad, but I never had a clue that it was this bad. And I never would have imagined that the Northern Neck Regional Jail would be one of the worst of the worst. And if you don't believe me, just ask anybody who's ever been a guest of theirs. So anyway, I think I'm kind of looking forward to gearing up to going back to these jail board meetings, because a lot of the stuff that we've uncovered has been entered into evidence now. I think we need to keep the pressure on them till Election Day. And I think also we need to start speaking up at the county board meetings, because don't forget, almost all the counties in this area are involved in that jail. And they have members on the jail board, and they can change these things. And maybe, just maybe, if we suggest that they may not get reelected, they might finally start taking this a little serious. Because make no doubt, the reason they make money on the jail system, as they brag about incessantly, is because they're cheating the inmates. They're not feeding or clothing them properly. They're not taking care of them medically. They're making a profit off of their suffering. And if anybody who says differently is either ignorant or they're lying. So anyway, any of you all that can help us to bring pressure to this situation, we'd appreciate it. And I'd encourage all of you all to start coming to the jail board meetings if you can.
It was reported that Fellows, they put it in reports that Fellows was escorted out, but he wasn't. He was leaving. And they said that on the vigil in DC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Nicole was with him.
Okay.
You know, I wondered why they would remove somebody just for making a comment. But are you suggesting it could be fake news?
I'll not comment.
For those of you in the audience, we're talking to someone who does not want to be shown in the podcast. I don't know for sure. I suspect she has a criminal record. It's probably why. But anyway, we'll try to find out more and get back to you.
Not yet.
I doubt that we're going to get any more callers.
I'm hoping that they'll call for the anthem at least, but just to, if anybody's still tuning in, I did pull up something from the DOJ website. It's their propaganda sheet that they put out regarding January 6th. The NPR website was not updated. They're getting slack on that. It seems like they used to do it religiously every Friday afternoon, every week. But this is from the Department of Justice website. It's 41 months since the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Thursday, June 6th, so it's a little outdated. Thursday, June 6th, 2024 marks 41 months since the attack of the U.S. Capitol that disrupted a joint session of the U.S. Congress in the process of affirming the presidential election results. The government continues to investigate losses that resulted from the breach of the Capitol, including damage to the Capitol buildings and grounds, both inside and outside of the building. As of October 14th, 2022, the approximate losses suffered as a result of the siege at the Capitol totaled $2,881,360.20. That amount reflects, among other things, damage to the Capitol buildings and grounds and certain costs borne by the U.S. Capitol Police. Now, what did the BLM riots, the total amount of damage that those things, wasn't it like $2 billion? Yeah.
But that was actual damage.
$2 billion, and buildings burned down and people killed.
And attacked, yes.
But anyway, so let's go on with their little narrative here. DOJ. Under the continued leadership of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia and the FBI's Washington Field Office, the investigation and prosecution of those responsible for the attack continues to move forward at an unprecedented speed and scale. The Department of Justice resolved to hold accountable those who committed crimes on January 6, 2021 has not and will not wane. Based on the public court documents, below is a snapshot of the investigation as of the close of business June 5, 2024. Complete versions of most of the public court documents used to compile these statistics are available on the Capitol Breach Investigation Resources page. The Capitol Breach Investigation Resource page. So anyway, here's the summary. Arrests made, more than 1,457 have been charged in nearly all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Approximately 517 defendants have been charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers or employees, including approximately 137 who have been charged with using a deadly or dangerous weapon or causing serious bodily injury to an officer. I think a bike rack is a deadly, dangerous weapon, wasn't it?
Water bottle.
Water bottle, flagpoles.
Flagpole.
Yeah. Approximately 140 police officers were assaulted on January 6, including about 80 from the U.S. Capitol and 60 from the Metropolitan Police Department. 11 individuals arrested on serious charges that relate to assaulting a member of the media or destroying their equipment. Approximately 1,367 defendants have been charged with entering or remaining in a restricted federal building or grounds, trespassing, right? Of those, 120 defendants have been charged with entering a restricted area with a dangerous or deadly weapon. 79 have been charged with destruction of government property, and 62 have been charged with theft of government property. Have you all seen the lectern guy?
Yeah.
What's his name? Do you remember? Anybody? I can't remember, but he, huh?
Where do you see that?
Just got out recently.
Yeah, he's been out for a while, but he's been doing some really great memes because he was walking with a small lectern kind of on his arm down the hallway in some footage, and then he placed it down and left. He didn't steal the lectern, but they claimed that he had stolen it. So anyway, he does all these memes with turning the lectern into different objects and things, and he's smiling like this, and it's really funny.
Adam Johnson.
Say it again.
Adam Johnson.
Adam Johnson, the lectern guy. Thank you. 355 have been charged with corruptly obstructing, influencing, or impeding official proceeding or attempting to do so. 355, that's the 1512C2 case that we were just talking about. Approximately 57 have been charged with conspiracy. And then, as to pleas, 835 individuals have pled guilty to a variety of federal charges, many of whom face or will face incarceration at sentencing. Approximately 263 have pled guilty to felonies. Another 572 have pled guilty to misdemeanors. A total of 132 of those who have pled guilty to felonies have pled to federal charges of assaulting law enforcement officers. 4 of those who have pled guilty to felonies have pled guilty to the federal charge of seditious conspiracy. So that's as close as we've gotten to insurrection, right? Seditious conspiracy. So do we know who those are? Is that
Who are these conspirators?
Stuart Rhodes.
Rhodes and both keepers? Yeah, okay.
They were convicted, they didn't plead.
Right.
Well, there's 4 that pled guilty to it.
Yeah, I don't think Rhodes pled. Well, they're either found guilty or pled guilty.
Yeah.
Approximately 890 defendants have had their cases adjudicated and received sentences for their criminal activity on January 6. Approximately 543 have been sentenced to periods of incarceration. Approximately 172 have been sentenced to a period of home detention, including approximately 31 who were also sentenced to a period of incarceration. So incarceration and home detention. Public assistance, interesting part. Citizens from around the country have provided invaluable assistance in identifying individuals in connection with the January 6 attack. The FBI continues to seek the public's help in identifying individuals believed to have committed violent acts on the Capitol ground. Those photos can be found at FBI.gov Capitol Violence. Additionally, FBI currently has 10 videos of suspects wanted for violent assaults on federal officers, including 1 video of two suspects wanted for assaults on a member of the media on January 6th. They're actually putting out people's names here and trying to find them. Anyway, yeah, that's all available right there on our own U.S. government Department of Justice website.
And home confinement can include removal of doors and not being allowed to talk on any device.
Yeah.
Any device.
Removal of what?
Doors, bedroom doors.
Wow.
Yep.
So just getting this a little snapshot of what home confinement can mean. Ankle bracelet, number one, right? Probably.
And some people can't walk off out to the porch because
They cut it off before
Yeah.
that.
They're very limited. It's almost like a dog fence, an invisible dog fence
Yeah.
or something, right? They can't even go out in the yard.
Yep.
And then you just said that sometimes they make them take doors off of rooms, like bedroom doors, bathroom
Yep.
doors, maybe.
I don't know about bathroom doors.
Yeah.
The bedroom one makes me mad enough.
Sure. Sure.
I can give it. There's one particular instance that we're talking about with home confinement. It's a lady that basically makes her living. She raises her own gardening and sells plants, that type of thing. She got home confinement, and initially she was restricted to her home. And I don't know the exact information, but I believe in the interview I saw, they changed it to where she can leave her house 1/2 hour a day to tend to her gardens, which take approximately 3.5 hours to tend to. So, and they geo-track her, and if she goes 1 foot over the boundary line, she's arrested and imprisoned. So a lot of people think of home confinement as, oh, you can sit around, drink beer, do what you. No, they're monitored constantly, and they're looking for any excuse to put them back into the Hooskow. So, don't think that they're being merciful with home confinement.
All right. I went to the post office, there was 0 sentinels in there.
Yeah, I put a whole stack in day before yesterday, and I'm sure Suzanne put some in. Yeah, they just, Tom and I were just talking about the fact that there's a shortage of sentinels this month. We send out our digital copy and post our website a few days before the paper copies hit the street. Well, the digital and website distribution attracted so many people. We had, I can't tell you how many requests for additional copies. So bear with us. If you have trouble getting a copy, temporarily, just go to the website and or email me. I'll get you a digital copy. We will increase the print number again next month, but unfortunately, we didn't start getting these inquiries till after we'd already submitted it for publication. So we didn't have time to do that this month. So just bear with us. We usually have a few left over when we redistribute. We'll hold on to those. But anyway, like I say, it was unintentional, but I guess that's a good problem to have. The left-wing media is not having that problem.
I want to make sure to put out there again to everybody, June 22nd, not tomorrow Saturday, but a week from Saturday, is the Virginia Tea Party annual, semi-annual summit in Richmond. It's at the Richmond Airport at the Sheraton. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., I believe. And we're going to have a table there. Northern Neck Patriots will have a table there. We're going to have some of those Sentinel newspapers to hand out. We're going to be featuring the J6 information and trying to also, I think we're going to have some special guests showing up from the DC Vigil support group. So they're going to try to make it out, and Ivan Raiklin is supposed to try to make it out as well. So there's a really great lineup for speakers at that event. It's $40 for a ticket, which includes a box lunch. So it's for a worthwhile cause. Virginia Tea Party has done a lot over the years to really help, keep patriotism alive. So put that on your calendar.
It's almost time.
Yeah, it's still 15 minutes, Cheryl. You want to just go ahead and do a practice run?
So, we could do a prayer.
We did not do a prayer. You'd have to do it. We get by without it. Sure. I can email that to you all if you want.
Would you please?
Go ahead and look at it if you want. Yes, if you know anybody on that list, on the deep state target list.
Didn't cops die in the Summer of Love ride?
What's that?
Didn't cops actually get killed
Yeah.
in the Summer of Love ride?
There was one police officer who was guarding his friends. I think he was either retired, but he's off duty at least. Who was
wow.
guarding his friend's store and was
Yeah,
Was
I
killed.
remember that.
A retired black police chief.
Yeah, he was retired.
Actually killed
Oh.
police officers. This one you're told police officers died, and yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the article, the Sentinel just coming out, we talk about Chris Quagman getting 12 years, and we contrast it with a recent pro-Gaza or pro, I can't think of the right word right now, but anyway, the anti-American, anti-Israel demonstrations. One of the demonstrators attacked a woman, police officer, knocked her down to the ground, and then when another female police officer tried to help, he punched her in the face. And whereas Chris was in the system for 3 years, within a month this guy had been fully adjudicated, and he was given 48 hours of community service. So it's okay to beat the hell out of a woman police officer if you're on the left, but if you you spray a police officer or put your hand on his shield, you get 12 years.
Wow.
So that's what we're dealing with.
We know what we're doing.
Desiree has an article in the Gateway Pundit too about the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I think he was released on bail the day he was arrested. And it ended up 48 hours of community service.
That's how it usually works.
When I was in college, to me, that was a cake party.
Right.
48 hours.
Well, I'm gonna have to get out here. And I'll get it, so I'm gonna okay, I mean, I wrote me once.
I've tried to ask a couple if we were getting more calls, but I haven't gotten anything.
I figured you were working on that.
I've been working on it all day. I didn't get answers, or I'd have rectified it before now.
these are sorts of people.
Yeah, it's on a big multi-party text from those. So you get a lot of phone numbers, you don't even know who it is.
I know, I lose track.
You can't tell who it is.
That's it, yeah. That's what we wrote. That's all I know.
Incidentally, we're not trying to keep secrets from you. We were discussing how much input we get from the families of the J6ers and the J6ers themselves, appreciating their all the support we've given them. And I think it means a lot more to them than some people would think. The letters are just huge, and the donations. And of course, we're lucky enough. A lot of people that help, they contribute anonymously or to an organization, and no one ever knows to thank them, but their contributions are just as important. And even if you haven't talked to any of the J6ers personally, every time I talk to them, they say to all of the people. So they're aware that even though they haven't interacted with a lot of you, just trust me, this means everything to them. And I don't think I talked to one ever that they don't somehow, during that conversation, express their appreciation. So I just want you to know what you're doing is greatly helpful, and it's deeply appreciated. I don't know that numerous Patriot members are on that list.
I was just gonna take a look.
Check. I know a certain retired military. Never mind. One abbreviation you can figure out.
Oh, the M, the D something?
I might be able to look at the names and figure it out.
GMA.
Yes. Because on here, it's limited, you don't see that. So then you could say, you could say inbox, you could inbox recent ones. Okay. And then how do you know who it is? On the computer, you could tell. Like here, okay. You have to go and you just click on it. When you click on it, then it tells you. And then you could. On the computer, it has a button on the bottom that says you can print, and then that's what it looks like. It's easier.
Well, they're all military, so I'm guessing it's probably Department of Military something. Military Administration or
Accountability?
could that could be it. Probably just Google and find out. Well, I shouldn't say Google, search.
There's a few that just don't have help.
This could be about the Ukraine cover, right? Because Vindman was deeply into that. Alexander Vindman. In fact, he was offered a high position by the Ukrainian government for his assistance. He's the one who testified against, when they were trying to impeach Trump. He testified against Trump.
A lot of people, I know you have, but I'm just.
Yeah, pretty interesting, huh?
That shows how politicized our military has become. It's scary.
You want me to email this to you?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll research my files, because I want to get with, Lakeland anyway, as far as specifically with the Carians
Yeah.
and some of their And his idea about going through the local,
Yeah, I think it's gonna
John,
gonna
do you
bear
have
some fruit.
February 2024 Sentinels in your car, by any chance?
not my truck, no. I know I got it.
Can I have a bunch of 15 or something like that next time?
I don't keep it like 15 or 20 for local archives.
Yeah.
Is there a particular article or something?
No.
Didn't you ask me for that same thing?
Yeah, you didn't give it to me, you gave me a different month. I think you gave me April, because I didn't get February.
Remember what's on
I
the
gave
front?
you what I
What is
had,
it
but
on
I
the-
had just thrown everything out. After
Yeah.
you had sent me what you wanted and I
Yeah.
gathered them, and then you asked for something more and I'd already thrown them out.
Yeah, well, that one wasn't there, but.
Which one do you need?
February
Of 24.
24, yeah.
Do you remember what's on the front? I'm trying to picture it.
If you go to the www, you can look.
Yeah, I always say a certain amount, but like that's most of my archive, because the whole house would be full of it.
Yeah, I know.
Now, and sometimes I get almost none back. I've had some months, I get like 4 or 5 back. And then some months, maybe it'll cover them up with the coat, and you can have to stack back.
January, 2024, January.
I gave you some though, right? I think I told
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't have, I gave you everything I could.
yeah, I know. It's okay, I'm sorting things out in the 5 minutes.
You're sorting things out and what?
And that one seems to be missing from all my piles.
All right. Well, I don't think they're gonna call because they would have probably done that already.
Yeah, I think unfortunately they've lost a lot of their leadership, and these poor new guys are disoriented. So I was trying to kind of alert the audience that the format's gonna probably be changing.
Yeah.
Because they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel now. If you haven't charged them by now, you haven't done anything. How ridiculous is this? It's taken that long to figure out.
Well, according to DOJ, there's a few wanted that, you know, people bolted, I guess, that they're looking for.
Well, also, this little Antifa army is investigating all this, or what they call themselves. They've been caught several times doctoring the tapes.
Sedition.
Yeah, sedition hunters.
If you go to 4ashley.com, the number 4, ASHLI.
And the people who found
.com.
tapes exonerating them, when they sent them in, they get mysteriously lost.
I actually don't know, because I can't get it. From what I understand, for them to call,
That's what I'm trying.
goes through commissary.
It does.
Unless they're calling from their tablet, and then that is a separate account. Yeah.
Okay.
You can give money, do you have the Get Account app?
No, I don't have any app, I just have Western Union,
Yeah.
and because they give out, I went onto the app website, the, Good Mail, and the blog site, you know.
I'll wait a week.
It gave you
Done.
instructions. of where to
Concerned
get
about
it on
months.
Their site.
Well, yeah, you wait.
The only
Print out
way
all
I,
the stuff.
the only way I know how to tell you to give for the tablet
Yeah,
is to be on the app,
what app is that now?
the Getting Out.
The Get Out app. There's all these apps, I hate
Oh,
apps,
yeah.
because then you have to have passcodes, and you have to have.
Yep. They made.
All right, I got a little,
Yeah,
little something.
and I'm not a phone
And when
person.
you do this one,
Uh-huh.
I work with drivers, but we have 2 licenses, and when we got our driver's license, we each had to take a test. We both passed.
Yeah, I've done it like in the 5 Bitcoin.
When we drive, there is control of the gas and brake,
Yeah.
and then we both steer, obviously, and then I'm in charge of the clicker, the blinker, so. Isn't that weird? I work with drivers, but we have 2 licenses, and
Sorry, that was a little
we
mean.
got our driver's license. We each had to take a test. We both passed. When we drive, various control of the gas and brake and the steer, obviously. And then I'm in charge of the clicker, like a so.
That cracked me up. All right, we got 1 minute.
1 minute. Pass it back.
So they're not calling.
Well,
I mean, I get
if singing it without them is exactly.
Oh, we've done it before. Done it plenty of times before.
So is that how you write a lot of
I did that. There was a-
That never worked
My
out for me very
boyfriend
well.
started the postcards,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a lot easier.
but you can't send them to the Fed facilities.
But you can't to the DOP. And with DOP.
Yeah, no, you can't send them to DOP.
Right.
All right. 9 o'clock. We're with you guys in spirit.
Yes, we are.
Ready?
Oh, say,
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare,
finally.
the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. USA! 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 Thank you, everybody, for being there tonight. Thank you all, and we'll tune in next Friday.
Just write this.
We all have the same chance.
Mine, I don't have
So
that.
did you bring this one, Tom?
Mine's over black.
It's ending. Just give it 1 second because
Bye, everybody.
Right.